Amazing afternoon sa inyo lahat. Ako po muli ang inyong tutor Rainier. Tayo po ay magsasama-sama ngayon sa ating ETULAY online tutorial. Pero tayo po ay hashtag level up na ngayon dahil hindi lang po tayo napapanood sa Facebook at sa YouTube. Tayo po ay mapapanood na rin sa IBC13. Wow, may pa-TV pa, no? So ngayon po ay ating bubuksan ang ating panibagong quarter or quarter 2 para sa ating ETULAY online tutorial. Ayan. So, maraming salamat sa pagtutok sa ating palabas ngayon sa ating ETULAY online tutorial para sa Science 10. Para sa ating Science 10 Quarter 2 Week 1, ang ating topic na pag-uusapan ay different forms of electromagnetic waves. Ayan. So mapapansin nyo na nag-iisa lang ako ngayon kasi si Tutor Ichad po ay makakasama naman natin sa Week 3. So ako muna ngayon para sa Week 1 at para sa Week number 2. Ayan. So ang ating most essential learning competencies po ay syempre galing po sa ating learning partner na nag-provide po ng ating self-learning module. Ito po ay galing sa DepEd Central Office para sa ating alternative delivery mode. Gumamit po tayo ng self-learning module para sa Quarter 2, Module 1 na may title na Different Forms of EM Waves. Yan po. Now, sabi ko po kanina sa ating most essential learning competencies, meron po tayong dalawang i-consider para sa Quarter 2, Week 1. Una, compare the relative wavelengths of different forms of electromagnetic waves. And the next one is compare the relative frequencies naman of different forms of electromagnetic waves. Ito naman ay may code na S10 FE-2A-B-47. I hope naging maliwanag po ang ating most essential learning competencies. Para naman sa ating mga reminders, syempre dahil tayo po ay nasa panibagong platform, meron po tayong mga gentle reminders para sa mga Science 10 learners. Una, take the pre-test prepared at the end of the module. Of course, that's very important. And number 2, you need to take time in reading and understanding the lesson. Follow the instructions carefully. Isa sa napakahalagang competencies at skills ng mga bata na talagang i-follow natin ang mga instructions carefully. And then, mahalaga rin po na gumamit ng malinis na papel sa pagsagot natin ng mga assessment or activity na nakapaloob sa ating self-learning module. And syempre, sa pang-apat, try to recall and connect the ideas that you had in lower years. So try nating isipin at i-recall yung mga science concepts natin sa ating Science 7, Science 8, and Science 9 lessons. At para ma-integrate natin sa ating Science 10. Ayan. So meron pa naman tayo ipapang mga reminders katulad ng be honest. Maganda po yung tinatawag nating academic integrity na kung saan kung tayo po ay sumasagot ng self-learning modules, kailangan talagang napaka-honest natin. Huwag natin munang tignan yung mga answer key sa likod. Try natin sagutan muna po sa abot ng ating makakaya. When doing the activities, record only what you have already observed. Tama naman po yan. And then don't hesitate to ask. Sabi nga no, sa isang commercial na huwag mahiyang magtanong. If you need to clarify or ask questions, just approach your teacher or contact your teacher o sino pang guardian nyo sa bahay na pwede nyo mapagtanungan ng inyong mga questions. And then, take the post-test prepared at the end of the module. Siyempre, ang module, meron tayong pre-test at meron din tayong post-test sa dulo. And eto, you can check your answers in the activities, self-assessments, and post-tests kapag natapos na natin o na-complete na natin yung buong SLM para sa Quarter 2, Week 1. Ready na ba kayo, Science 10 learners? So ito po ang ating mga gentle reminders para tayo ay organize para sa ating Quarter 2, Week 1. Now, tayo po ay ready na para sa ating pre-test. At ang ating pre-test ay parang meron lang konting term na what I know. So this is what I know. This is a multiple choice type of test. And then I would like to read the directions. Read each question carefully. Choose the letter of the correct answer. And use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Yan po, napakaliwanag po ng ating instruction na kailangan sagutan po natin sa ating separate sheet of paper. Ayan, ready na ba? So hindi po natin lahat sasagutan yung nakalagay sa SLM. Namili lang po si Tutor Rainier ng 3 mga items. So let's have item number 1. Okay, let's answer question number 1 for what I know. These are waves that are created as a result of vibration between an electric field and magnetic field. Is it A, electromagnetic spectrum, B, electromagnetic wave, C, microwave, and D, radio wave? So bigyan ko kayo ng 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course, kung ang sagot nyo ay B, electromagnetic wave, very good. Ang tamang sagot ay letter B for question number 1, electromagnetic wave. Let's move to question number 2. This is all about electromagnetic waves are produced by blank. Okay, we need to complete the statement. So is it A, any disturbance, B, currents, C, vibrating charge, or D, voltage source? Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is letter C, vibrating charge, you are definitely correct. Now, let's move to the last question for what I know. Question number 3. Which two colors of light lie at the beginning and end of the visible spectrum? A, is it red and violet? B, red and yellow. C, yellow and violet. Or D, yellow and green. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the correct answer, of course, red and violet. Ito yung makikita natin sa ating rainbow, yung red sa taas at violet naman po sa ilalim. Okay, so sana medyo maganda po ang scores natin para sa ating What I Know o yung tinatawag nating pretest. Now, let's move to our next part of SLM. This is what's in. So yan, meron tayong mga jumbled letters ngayon that I want you to rejumble to reveal the correct spelling of the word. Okay, direction. Rearrange the jumbled letters to form the term being described. Do this on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so ready na po ba? Ito na ang ating number 1. It is a disturbance in space. Ayan. So, meron tayong 4 letters. A, V, W, E. So, let's jumble that. The correct answer is wave. Wave is a disturbance in space. Let's move to second item. It is the highest point in a wave. Ayan, so napag-aralan natin yan last time pa sa grade 7 science. So ano yung tinatawag natin na highest point in a wave? Bigyan ko kayo ng clue. S, E, C, R, T. Yan, paki-jumble natin SCIENCE10 learners para makuha natin ang tamang letter. Ayan. Again, try natin pong i-jumble yung mga letters para makuha po natin yung tamang spelling ng word. Again, it is the highest point in a wave. The correct answer is crest. That's correct. Let's move to the next jumbled letters. It is the lowest point in a wave. Kung kanina, highest point in a wave, this time, the lowest point in a wave. Ayan, ito naman yung mga letters natin. T, G, H, U, R, O. Ayan, paki-jumbled nga, SCIENCE10 learners. The correct answer is trough. Trough is the lowest point in a wave. Let's move to the next. Ayan. It is the distance from the midpoint to the highest or lowest point of a wave. Yan, medyo mahaba po yung ating word. L-M-U-P-T-D-E-A-I. Paki-jumbled nga po para malaman natin what is the distance from the midpoint to the highest or lowest point of a wave. The correct answer is amplitude. Very good. Let's move to the last statement. It refers to the number of waves produced in 1 second. Ito po yung mga letters. N, E, Q, F, C, E, U, R, Y. Familiar ba yung word na to? Okay. Pag ginumble natin, the correct answer is frequency. Frequency, it refers to the number of waves produced in 1 second. Ayan, ang galing-galing naman natin. So, let's move to the next part, which is what is it? So, let's define what are electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic wave or EM wave, this is electromagnetic radiation, a wave that is created as a result of vibration between an electric field and magnetic field. Hence, it is also known as electromagnetic wave. Ayan. So, ang EM wave naman ngayon ay, of course, marami pong mga scientists ang nagbigay ng contributions para ma-discover natin at maging fundamental po yung concepts ng electromagnetic waves. Una-una si Hans Christian Ørsted. According to him, a changing electric field produces magnetic field. A changing magnetic field is therefore produced around a vibrating charge. So makikita natin yung fundamental concepts ng electricity and magnetism, that both of them are interrelated to each other. Again, meron din po tayong isa pang scientist from Michael Faraday. According to him, the changing magnetic field will produce electric field. Yan naman po ang discovery ni Michael Faraday. Pinapakita po sa konsepto na to na ang relasyon ng electricity at magnetism. That's why nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag na electromagnetism. Ayan. So let's move to the next one. Electromagnetic waves can travel through anything, even on vacuum. Wow, that's correct. Pag sinabi nating vacuum, kahit wala pong medium, mapa-solid, liquid, gas, ay kaya niyang mag-travel itong mga electromagnetic waves. And, of course, this electromagnetic waves can travel in a vacuum with an enormous speed of 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. So, ganun kabilis, no? Yung ating mga electromagnetic waves. Now, let's move to the enrichment activity. Ito yung isa sa mga exciting part ng ating SLM na kung saan ang mga bata ay sasagot ng mga activities na nakapaloob sa ating SLM. So, ngayon, sasagutan natin ang what's more para sa enrichment activity. Iga-guide ko kayo para sagutan natin ang enrichment activity number 1. But before that, discuss muna natin yung types ng electromagnetic waves na first, radio waves, followed by microwaves, next, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. Yan po ang ating 7 types of electromagnetic waves. At mapapansin nyo, meron itong tinatawag na pattern or behavior na kung saan mula radio waves pababa hanggang gamma rays, nagde-decrease ang kanyang wavelength. So yung wavelength po ay bumababa from radio waves to gamma rays. On the other hand, sa kabilang side naman, from radio waves again down to gamma rays, nag-i-increase ang frequency o tumataas ang frequency at tumataas din ang kanyang energy. Actually, meron pa tayong isa pang week dyan na i-discuss natin ang relationship ng wavelength sa frequency at wavelength pagdating sa energy. Kaya meron tayong susunod na week para dito sa topic na ito. Ayan. Nakita na natin ang 7 types of electromagnetic waves, no? Now, kailangan na nating sagutan ang figure 1 in which we are going to determine the wavelength ranges of each of the forms of electromagnetic waves. So may papakita si Tutor Rainier na nakalagay din sa ating SLM. Ito po yon. Ayan. Sa ating SLM, pinapakita dito na meron tayong mga series ng electromagnetic waves from left to right. Sa kabilang side o sa left side, nandito po yung radio wave at sa pinakadulo, yung gamma rays. Makita natin dito sa ating illustration, i-zoom lang natin, yan. Makita natin yung kanyang wavelength reported into meters. Mapapansin natin yung radio waves natin dito, papunta po ng microwave, infrared, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma ray. At ang kanilang wavelength po ay naka-report into scientific notation. 1 times 10 to the negative 1 para sa radio wave at papunta po dito paliit na ang kanyang wavelength. So kita natin, no, habang tumataas po yung exponent negatively, so dumadating po sa point na bumababa po yung value niya. Kaya yung gamma rays po, nakalagay dito, 1 times 10 to the negative 11. So maliit na ang kanyang wavelength. Ayan. Pinalaki din po natin yung para sa visible light. Now, let's answer this enrichment activity. Ayan, meron pong table dyan sa ating SLM na kung saan merong blank with 2 columns. On the left column, nakalagay dun electromagnetic wave. Yan po ay, syempre, inumpisahan ng radio wave, followed by microwave. And then, sinagutan na ni Tutor Rainier yung wavelength range or meters. Paano ba natin makikita yan? O paano natin masasagutan yung enrichment activity number 1? Sa radio wave, tignan natin dito on the side ng wavelength or meters. This is greater than 1 times 10 to the negative 1 meters. Yan po yon. Para naman sa microwave, syempre mag-start po tayo no, sa pinakamababa. Between 1 times 10 to the negative 3 and 1 times 10 to the negative 1, syempre mas mababa yung 1 times 10 to the negative 3, ang kanyang value. So the range would be for microwave is 1 times 10 to the negative 3 to 1 times 10 to the negative 1. Tutor Rainier, saan ba nakita yon? Ayan, eto sa microwave, this is 1 times 10 to the negative 3. Papunta sa 1 times 10 to the negative 1. So let's start from the lowest number papunta doon sa highest number o biggest number. Ayan. Let's have few more. Ayan po. Infrared naman. Sa infrared, ayan po, tip of the pin. From here, 7 times 10 to the negative 7 to 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters. That's the wavelength range for the infrared. Now, kayo naman po ang sasagot na para sa visible light. So nakita niyo yung pattern kung paano sinagutan ni Tutor Rainier yung ating wavelength range or meters para sa 7 types of electromagnetic waves. Ayan. So let's move to the next. Okay. Meron tayong mga guide questions sa ating SLM. So kumuha lang si Tutor Rainier ng dalawa na mga questions. Guide question number 1. Which electromagnetic wave has the longest wavelength? So kung napansin natin kanina yung ating illustration, sa 7 electromagnetic waves, ano daw ang pinakamahabang wavelength? Okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is radio waves, you are definitely correct. Radio waves are considered as the longest wavelength. Pinakita kanina sa ating illustration na nasa left side, ang radio waves ang may pinakamahabang wavelength. Okay? Let's move to the second question. Which electromagnetic wave has the shortest wavelength? Ayan, so tinatanong naman ngayon dito kung anong electromagnetic wave ang may pinakamaliit na wavelength. Okay, so the answer is yung nasa kabilang side, which are the gamma rays. Gamma rays, these are electromagnetic waves or EM waves that are considered as the shortest wavelength among the 7 types of electromagnetic waves. Okay, let's move to the next enrichment activity number 2. Now, using figure 2, compare the frequencies of the different electromagnetic waves. Kung kanina, SCIENCE10 learners, ang kinumpara natin ay yung mga wavelength in terms of meters. This time, we are going to compare the frequencies in terms of hertz naman. Pinapakita po dito sa ating enrichment activity number 2 ang ionizing energy. Pinapakita dito yung amount of energy na ini-emit ng mga iba't ibang uri ng electromagnetic waves. From left to right po muna tayo ulit. Sa left, meron tayo ditong radio wave. Mapapansin natin, papuntang kanan, nasa gamma rays na. Meaning to say, ang ionizing energy ay tumataas. So mas nagiging mataas ang energy from left to right. Yan ang kanyang trend. At mapapansin din natin na ang frequency in terms of hertz ay tumataas ba yan or bumababa? Titignan natin. Okay, so i-zoom natin. The ionizing energy from radio wave to gamma rays, yan po, ay umaakyat. And same as with the frequency. From 3 times 10 to the 9, 3 times 10 to the 11, 4 times 10 to the 14, hanggang sa gamma ray na 3 times 10 to the 19. So tumataas po ang frequency. So, ayan. So maglabas tayo ngayon ulit ng table. Electromagnetic wave, we started from radio wave, and then this time, ang ating sasagutan naman ay frequency range in terms of hertz. So saan natin makikita yan, Tutor Rainier? Dito po sa ating data sa baba. For radio wave, this is less than 3 times 10 to the 9 hertz. Yan po yung kanyang electromagnetic wave na radio wave at ang kanyang frequency ay less than 3 times 10 to the 9 hertz. Pagdating naman sa microwave, ito po yun. kunin natin yung range. Kailangan dalawang data o dalawang numbers. From 3 times 10 to the 9 to 3 times 10 to the 11 hertz. Yan ang ating microwave. Let's move to the next type of electromagnetic wave. Naman, infrared. Sa infrared, tignan natin, nandito po. From 3 times 10 to the 11 to 4 times 10 to the 14 hertz. Kung napansin nyo kanina, di ba dun sa ating wavelength, nag-start tayo sa kanan yung pagbigay natin ng range kasi nag-start talaga tayo sa lowest number. Dito sa ating frequency range para sa hertz naman, syempre mag-start tayo sa 3 times 10 to the 11 to 4 times 10 to the 14 hertz. Okay, now bibigay ko na sa inyo ang chance to answer ultraviolet, papunta na rin ng X-ray, and gamma rays. So let's have guide question for enrichment activity number 2. Guide question number 1. Which among the electromagnetic waves has the highest frequency? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is gamma rays, you are definitely correct. Gamma rays have the highest frequency among the EM waves. Let's move to the second question. Which among EM waves has the lowest frequency? So tinatanong natin mga direct opposites, no? Kung gamma rays ang may pinakamataas na frequency, ano namang EM waves ang may pinakamababang frequency? If your answer is radio waves, again, you are amazing. Tama po kayo. Okay, let's move to the next part of SLM. What I have learned. Ito po yung ating magiging task. Pick out the word. Ang ating directions would be, pick out the word that will make the statements correct. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Ayan, so maliwanag po yung ating direction. Let's move to this one. Meron tayong, pinili lang ni Tutor Rainier po ay 4 lang na items. Let's read this one. The electromagnetic spectrum is the arrangement of 1. Again, mamimili po tayo dito between electromagnetic waves and ultraviolet radiation, which are waves that are created with changing electric field. And number 2, electric charge, magnetic field. EM waves travel on 3. Is it air or vacuum? At a constant speed of number 4, 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, or 8 times 10 to the 3rd meter per second. Okay? So let's reveal the correct answer. Ayan. So ang ginawa ni Tutor Rainier, hinighlight natin ng kulay yellow yung mga tamang answers. So again, I will read again. The electromagnetic spectrum is the arrangement of electromagnetic waves, which are waves that are created in changing electric field and magnetic field. EM waves travel on vacuum at a constant speed of 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. Ayan. So, yan po yung ating last po or second to the last part. Now, let's move to the assessment part of our SLM. So, ang bilis, no? Nandito na tayo sa part ng ating assessment. Let me read again the directions. Read each question carefully. Choose the letter of the correct answer and use a separate sheet of paper for your answers. Ready? So let's have assessment question number 1. He theorized that changing magnetic field will produce electric field. Is it A, Faraday, B, Hertz, C, Maxwell, or D, Ørsted? Again, bilangan ko po kayo ng 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is Ørsted, you are correct. Ørsted theorized that changing magnetic field will produce electric field. Tandaan niyo po yan. So let's answer question number 2 for assessment. Electromagnetic waves can travel through a vacuum. What is the speed of an electromagnetic wave in a vacuum? A, 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. B, 3 times 10 to the 8 meter per second squared. C, 3 times 10 to the 9 meters per second. Or D, 3 times 10 to the 9 meters per second squared. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is letter A, 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, you are agamazing. Tama po yun. So the speed of the electromagnetic wave or EM wave is 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. So let's move to the assessment question number 3. Which two waves lie at the beginning and the end of the electromagnetic spectrum? Kung napansin niyo po kanina, yung ating illustration about electromagnetic spectrum, pinakita natin doon yung 7 types of electromagnetic waves. A. Gamma rays and X-ray. B. Microwave and ultraviolet rays. C. Radio wave and gamma ray. And D. Radio waves and microwaves. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your answer is letter C, radio wave and gamma rays, you are definitely correct. Ayan. So we're done with our assessment. At makikita-kita po tayo muli next week para naman sa ating quarter 2, week number 2. Kita-kita kits. Paalam.